Good morning from the upper Mount Elbert, South Mount Elbert trailhead. Today, going to be hiking Mount Elbert and then descending via the Box Couloirs. For a full hike guide of this snow line, you can check the link in the description below. Obviously pretty early because I'm blinding myself with my headlamp to get light. This is pretty much a requirement because of the way that these couloirs are facing east. From the lower trailhead, this should be about a 14-mile hike. From up here, just about 10. I'm kind of tired of staring at my headlamp, so I'll check in a little bit once there's more light. Not much to see here at 4 a.m. But this trail has a very special place for me because the last time I was here going this way, I was running the Leadville 100. And then the time before that, Juno, Jackie, and I were hiking the Colorado Trail coming the opposite way, so towards where we started. This trail is extremely well marked and easy to follow, but just keep an eye out for signs. We're about to hop onto the South Elbert Trail officially and get off the CT here. Just over a half mile in, you don't want to miss this trail junction. You're going to take a left or just kind of stay straight and you'll get on the South Elbert Trail here. Shout out Colorado 14ers Initiative, who's doing some work on this South Elbert Trail to improve it. You can read about it here. Well, I am moving a bit too fast. I'm just about 11:05 right now, and yeah, sun's starting to rise. Hoping I can slow down a bit. I've been taking it super easy. I've heard reports recently of snow warming at 8:30. I just hit stuff down south and hit it at like 9:30 and it was fine. I've heard people hitting it right before noon, so I think it's like a tolerance thing, but I know these box couloirs face directly east. It is spring. The sun is going to be strong. There's no clouds in the sky. Yeah, I'm kind of playing that game of too early versus too late. Sun just starting to poke up here. So obviously on the snow now. If you have trouble trail finding, because there is no trail, you can use these little reflectors here that'll lead you up. My go-to map these days is Onyx. I like it because I can download my map offline, not have to worry about, you know, a GPX file that maybe I can't read. I have a super detailed map right on my phone. I can draw lines so I know how far things are. This will be helpful later in the day when I'm at the base of the Box Couloirs and need to get back onto the trail here. I have a affiliate link to save you 20% on your Onyx subscription, so go ahead and check that out. While we're working up the slopes here, if you are just interested in hiking or maybe even more of a winter hike of the South Ridge of Elbert, it can be done year-round, and I have a video purely on that. It'll show more of the approach with better lighting, so I'll link that in the description below. And then of course there is the standard route, the northeast slopes or ridge of Elbert as well, that I'll link in the description too. Not sure if this was part of the planning or not. If so, kudos. But the rerouted South Elbert Trail is a little bit more on the north side. So the old one used to kind of be up there, but because this one's on the north side, it makes your exit out of the Box Couloirs, which are right here, a lot easier. Now with the Box Couloirs in view, let's talk about them for a second. So as you can see, there's a number of different lines you can choose based on snow and coverage and all that stuff. But in general, it's a moderate, about 40-degree descent. And once you're done, you could take this all the way out. But what most people do is they'll kind of stop in this area and then get back to the standard trail here. Although you certainly could hit Box Couloirs from the north trail. The south one is a bit shorter, and because obviously carrying the gear today, you probably won't want to be carrying all your gear too much. So it's pretty much June here. Even if you were hitting this earlier in the year, the chances of being able to do a skin from the trailhead to the summit, probably 60-40. Mount Elbert, because it's so high, gets a lot of wind, and the wind blows all the snow around. Grouse thinks it's still winter. Look at that backdrop. What a home. Coyotes going ham. You can't hear them, but it sounds like a freaking dog attack. 13-2, about 4.3 in. So from here to the summit, just under a mile and just about 1,200 feet to gain. Another angle of the Box Couloirs, and then your route. That is not the summit, so don't get too excited. Pretty awesome being able to hike in trail runners, pop on a split board snowboard, and then descend. But I will say that carrying this extra weight is not fun. It's just slogging away. But this is the reality of springtime skiing in Colorado. Yeah, you might be able to ski close to off the summit, but you're paying for it on the other end. Just about 13.6. The slope doesn't look like much, but it is the steepest part of your route, and because there's snow coverage, I'm just gonna go right up. I've been kind of testing the snow all morning. This right here is about as east facing as I can get, and it's still pretty firm. All of that to say that I still have quite a bit of time before I kind of want to hit it, so I'm really going at a turtle's pace right now, because I'd rather wait here or slow down here where there's no wind than get to the top and have it be horrible and have to find shelter. Above 14K now. Summit is kind of off to the left a little bit. Summit of Elbert. I think this is my third time up here. A little windy, so I'm kind of off the actual summit a little bit, waiting out the sun to warm things up. Really pretty. I always love the Sawatch Range with snow on it. It's probably the only time I really enjoy it. But yeah, it's about 8:45 right now, so probably gonna wait, I don't know, another half hour before I start to think about transitioning. I'm starting to feel the snow, and it is softening up a little bit, but I'd like for it to be just a bit softer. To the summit here, just about 5 miles with 4,200 feet of gain. And yeah, really surprising how few people are up here today. Maybe everyone's still working their way up. I guess we'll see on the way down. I think I can go pretty continuous from the summit to the entrance of the couloir, but I'll try to keep you posted if that changes. Don't plan on that happening. There might be portions you have to walk a little bit, and I'll try to vary things up with the angles here, but of course safety being the #1 priority. And speaking of safety, make sure that when you're hitting anything that is a couloir or avalanche prone, you understand conditions, you understand basic at least basic information before hitting things. So please don't use this as a, hey, I should go do this kind of video. Obviously, I'd highly encourage you to, but make sure you have the right education first. Oh, perfect corn. It's so good. Well, that was fucking awesome. Those are so good. I have no idea which line I went down. I just kind of picked what looked good, and it rode amazing. You spot my drone? Had a little crash right there. Not great, but at least I found it. Anyway, here's a closer look at the Box Couloirs here. If anybody saw me do that, they're probably like, what the fuck is this dude doing? But drone rescued, off the dangerous snow, and now a couple more turns until I gotta boot it out of here. That was really tough today. One last look at the Box Couloirs here. So I kind of went there, something like that, and the drone crashed like over here. What a joke. From here, you're gonna avoid this lake or pond and then get back up onto the ridge that way. Back on standard trail now. There goes the board. I'm keeping it off my bag for the hopes that I can get a couple more turns kind of around the corner there. Oh man, I just love this shit. All right, I think I got one more section of boarding left. As you can obviously tell, like I mentioned earlier, this is not a summit to car kind of day or mountain unless you get pretty damn lucky. This spring has made me like a professional in hiking with snowboard boots on. For all you skiers, I feel for you, but I also don't, because your skinning situation is so much easier than ours. Man, look at the lakes. That's not even a lake, that's a pond. Huge. winter we had for all this snow to melt and keep everything really looking good. So anyway, from here, this is going to be the last really check-in that I give you. I wanted to make sure I got you back to where snow will likely end. So you can see left side snowy, right side dry. The actual old trail is on the right side, but the new one routes you over here. Let's say you were just watching this video to do the Box Couloirs to climb them. This is where snowshoes will be absolutely crucial unless you really enjoy suffering, because the post holing down here is going to be very not fun. Back to the dry trail. I've discovered something about myself over the last several years, and this season in particular has just been great. I think I love combining snowboarding or splitboarding with summiting peaks, because it kind of, for 1 second, makes me feel like someone who's fast and I look forward to going down. But also, it's just such a unique combination of skills and my kind of bigger passions in life as well. So hopefully by me sharing these experiences with you all, you can perhaps try this one day and start to gain an appreciation for this as well. Of course, all of this is a ton of extra logistics and work and weight. I mean, I hate carrying the split board and all my boots and everything else down, but it's kind of the nature of the beast. And to be honest, if you're not, you know, going down mountains in this fashion when the snow starts to melt, you're bringing snowshoes and it's a whole different kind of ball game as well. So I prefer this. Really like the Box Couloirs there and highly recommend them. You don't get a ton of boarding or skiing in relative to the approach, at least for me today, but what you do get is just some quality, really aesthetically pleasing lines and a different way to summit a really popular 14er. I dropped right around 920, and I would say that was pretty good. I don't want to say it was too warm by any means, but that was like pretty much prime. We had a good solid freeze last night, but because these are east facing and because they're so high up and unobstructed by anything else, the sun just blasts them right away. So I was a little concerned actually that the snow would be too firm, but no, it was perfect. As I'm heading out here, for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I have every single 14er, a lot of duplicate routes on them if you're interested in that. If spring or snow lines are your thing, I have a ton of those as well, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I know that 70% of you who watch this video are not subscribed, so help me out. It costs you nothing, just helps me grow continuously. Everything you need to know about this hike, my GPX file, A to Z information on parking and camping and all that fun stuff. I have a full guide linked in the description below you can check out to help support the channel through gear or my Patreon as well. That's also linked in the description. Wrapping up just a lovely spring day here in Colorado. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all on the next adventure.